to your final. Hello, 8th graders. Wake up. Welcome to your final 8th grade retake requirement video. So this is for Grung Investigation 4. This is for the F1 standard, linear and nonlinear equations. This was part 2, the one that only had 5 questions. So let's start with number 22. And it says the line's y-intercept is -4 and its slope is 11.2. What's the line's equation in slope-intercept form? So going back to the very beginning of the year when we learned this standard equation for linear equations, it is y equals m, which is your slope. And they told you, oh, I did mine backwards. Y-intercept is -4. The x needs to go here. Hang on. Okay. He's getting crazy. Get rid of this. Okay. The -4 is your y-intercept. That does not have the x. The slope does. So your y-intercept is -4 and the slope is 11.2. Usually the way you see it would be y equals 11.2 x minus y equals m, your slope, with your x minus 4. Sorry about that. Flip that around on you. Number 23, they give you the slope of 3/4, and they also tell you that it passes through the point of -4.7. So I'm going to set this up. I'm going to use my slope. I'm going to use my y value and my x value to solve for my b. And then when I find my b, I can write my equation. So y equals mx plus b. 7 is my y, right here in the y spot, is equal to 3/4, that's your m or your slope, multiplied by your x, which is right here, -4 in the x spot, plus b. So 7 equals 3/4 times -4, which is -3, plus b. And I can either add 3 to both sides, or I can think to myself, what would I have to add to -3 to get to 7? And both ways, you would end up with b equaling 10. So you're going to write your equation out. Y equals your slope 3/4 x plus 10, which is your y-intercept. 24, instead of giving you a slope and a point, they're giving you 2 points. So you need to go one step further this time, and you have to actually find the slope. And then you're going to do the exact same steps that you did in number 23 to find your y-intercept. So I have a point at 5, -11 and -9.17. So the way I find my slope is I find the change in y divided by the change in x. So the change in y, I'm going from -11 to +17. That's a change of 28. I'm dividing that by the change in x, which is 5 to a -9. That would be -14. So 28 divided by -14 is -2. That's my m, or my slope. So now I'm going to use that number and one of my points. So I'm going to plug in -11 for my y, right up here. -11 is the y coordinate, is equal to -2, which is your m, multiplied by your x, which is +5, plus b. We need to find out what b equals. So I'm going to multiply -2 times 5. So now I have -11 equals -10 plus b. Again, add 10 to both sides, or ask yourself, what would I add to a negative 10 to get to a negative 11? And you will find that B equals negative 1. So now you have an M and you have a B. You can write your equation. So y equals negative 2x minus 1. In 25, they give me a little situation. Patricio has 739 baseball cards. If they already have them, that is my starting value or my y-intercept. So that's going to be the B in your equation, 739. He has 739 baseball cards in his collection. Every week he goes to the card shop and buys 2 packs of cards. So it's important that you understand he's getting 2 packs that each have 15 in it. So you can either write that as a multiplication or you can say 30 cards. So he's getting 30 new cards each week. Write the equation to model the total number of cards he has, T. So instead of y equals, we're going to have T equals. And it's going to be based on the number of weeks that pass. So instead of our X in our equation, we're going to have W in there, standing for the number of weeks. So we're going to use that 739 as our starting value, 739 plus 30 new cards every week, 30W. And if you wrote it the opposite direction, 30W plus 739, that works as well. Sometimes with story problems, it just makes more sense to do your starting value first, but either way is correct. And finally, we have a graph, and we need to find the equation of this line. So we have a point here at 0, 1, or at 1, 0. And then we have another point at 4, 9. So I'm going to use that information to find my slope. And then I'm going to use my slope and one of my points, just like I did back in the beginning of this, to find that y-intercept, because I can't see it on the graph. I can't see where it's crossing. So the first thing I'm going to do is find my slope by doing the rise over the run, or the change in y. I'm going from 0 to 9. So the change in y, or my rise, is 9. And my run would be my change in x. And I'm going from 1 to 4. So from 1 to 4, that's a change of 3. And 9 divided by 3 is 3. So my m is 3. I'm going to use that information with one of my points. So my point 4, 9, I'm going to use here. So 9 is my y, is equal to your m, which is 3, multiplied by your x, which is 4, plus b. We're solving for b. That's going to be that y-intercept. 9 equals 12 plus b. So what would I add to 12 to get back to 9? Or subtract a 12 from each side, and you get b is equal to negative 3. So then you need to write your equation in y equals mx plus b form, and you get y equals 3x, right? There's your 3, minus 3. Your y-intercept is negative 3. Please don't hesitate to ask any questions before you retake if you have them. And hopefully I'll see a lot of you there. I really hope that we can master this skill before I send you off to the high school. Have a great night.